Hi, my name's Siobhan Fanning, and I'm the owner and founder of Show Squad LLC. I'm originally from London, but I've lived in Ras Al Khaimah now for 7.5 years. I'm a trained actress and voice coach and teacher, and that's actually what brought me to Ras Al Khaimah in the first place, was teaching. And I'm just really passionate about performing arts and the transferable skills that it brings to everybody, but especially children. I know it had a massive impact for me. If I go back to my childhood, I was actually undiagnosed dyslexic until I was 16. And I only felt that I contributed to my school through my gift for singing and dancing. And when we did school plays, I felt that was my only contribution. And then after I was diagnosed with dyslexia, I suddenly literally found my voice through drama. And I joined a part-time theatre school in the UK called Stagecoach, and I was a student there for 8 years, I think, and it transformed my life. It really did. And I ended up working for them for 20 years. And when I came over here, I realised there was a real gap in the market, particularly in Ras Al Khaimah. So I wanted to give back to the community, and that's why I started Show Squad. I actually came to Ras Al Khaimah in 2018, and I was working as a creative arts lead trainer for the Ministry of Education. So I was over here to train teachers, open creative arts academies for ministry schools, develop the curriculum, assessment, etc., to try and bring up the arts in the UAE. Now, when I took the job, I was promised that I'd be in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, and after 2 days, they brought me to Ras Al Khaimah, and I was not happy at first. Because I'm from London, I'm a city girl. Living by the beach in a small community like RAK, that's not what I signed up for. But how quickly did that change? RAK surprised me from day one. The community, the lifestyle, it was like nothing I'd ever lived in before, and I just fell in love with it. And that's what brought me here. As a woman working in Ras Al Khaimah, there's all these preconceived ideas in the UK about what the UAE and the Middle East is like. And I have to say it's not like that at all. I have made so many contacts, so many friends, and the sisterhood here, particularly amongst business owners, is amazing. We prop each other up, we help each other out. It's amazing. In fact, 2.5 years ago, a woman who's been here for 30 years, she was kayaking, and she knew that I was starting my business, and 2 of my other friends were starting very different businesses, and her friend, who've been here and been in business for many years, were just kayaking, and they said, oh, we should give back. Let's start a mentoring group for these young ladies. Yeah, young. I'm 45, but you know what I mean. But it was just amazing, and yeah, being a woman here is not what people think. It's safe. I never feel vulnerable. The social life is great. Everyone should come to RAK. The future of Ras Al Khaimah is very exciting. It's going to change from the place I fell in love with. That's inevitable, and as the Sheikh says, it's progress. So we're going through a transitional time at the moment, but I think the future is very exciting with the casino and everything coming. And I just hope that they invest more and more and more in the arts. That's what I would love to see. I know the Win is going to have a couple of theatre spaces. I'd like to see more competitions, more arts-based opportunities for the community as well. Professionally, historically, I'm a trained actress, musical theatre actress and singer. I've performed in the West End, I've been on British TV, but I've always taught. So like I mentioned Stagecoach earlier, the whole time I was performing, I always taught at the weekends, children, and I love seeing them develop. And that led me purely by accident to go into teaching full-time in about 2008. So I was 28, and I was starting to come to this gap I knew I was always going to have in my castability as an actress, where I wouldn't be able to play the teenage roles anymore, and it'd be a while until I could play the older roles. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to take this seriously now. I'm going to teach. So I was very lucky. I worked at a very prestigious girls' school in London, and I taught some fantastic girls who are now rocking it on BBC and British TV. So it's amazing, and that's what led me here. I like to think that I'm quite a prominent figure already in Ras Al Khaimah, particularly in Al Hamra. I have a dog, and I walk my dog with my friend who moved here from Dubai 3 years ago, and she says I'm like the mayor of Al Hamra, because we walk around the golf course and everyone's like, hi, Miss Siobhan, hi, Siobhan, how are you? And if I complain about something, it usually gets fixed. So she calls me the mayor of Al Khaimah. But jokes aside, one of the things I'm most proud of since I started Show Squad was the community theatre. So coming out of COVID, I was really keen that we all got to connect again physically and have fun. So it was one of the things I was most proud of my first year. We did a community pantomime of Cinderella in the Al Khaimah school, and it had teachers, business owners, parents, kids from the community. It was so much fun. Was it Cinderella? No, it wasn't Cinderella. Sorry, Snow White was the first year. The second year was Cinderella. And it was just so funny. The first night, the theatre was packed. We had 400, 500 people in the auditorium. The kids were, I thought we'd lost them. They were running around the auditorium. We'd thrown them sweets, and we thought we'd lost them. And then suddenly, Snow White went to take a bite of the apple, and the kids went, no, don't do it, Snow White, don't do it. She goes, why? Why shouldn't I do it? It's poisonous, please don't do it. There was like a riot. It was hysterical. And then she cottoned on. She was like, what? I shouldn't do it. They were like, no. And one of the kids started crying, and it was just so funny. And that just brought so much joy to me that we had something for the community to all share together. And secondly, I've been involved with the Arts Festival. So I actually wrote a play which I directed, produced, and performed in, called A Patchwork of Memories this year for the Art Festival, which was really well received. And I've got another proposal in for next year to do some stuff with the children from Show Squad and for me to write something. So fingers crossed, you'll see some more of my community initiatives there. I think one of the things that parents sometimes misunderstand about our services until they're actually involved in them is that our USP, or what I care about, is not making the next Oscar winners, the next pop stars, the next best ballerinas or anything. Of course, if they've got talent and we nurture it, of course we do. But for me, it's about the development in confidence, creativity, teamwork, communication. And in this age of AI, the parents really value the fact that I offer a service that gets them off their devices. On a Friday, they get 3 hours of stage school where they do an hour of dance, hour of drama, hour of singing, no devices. When they do camp, 6 hours every day, no devices. And it's wonderful. And the development, you'll see some of the children who we interviewed, the development in some of them in such a short amount of time has been amazing. So from that point of view, I solve that problem. From a corporate training point of view, because I haven't spoken about that much, I do, using my voice background and my acting background, and I did also work in sales for a bit in the UK, I do a vocal mastery course. So I solve businesses' communication issues. So for people and CEOs who need to public speak, be articulate, communicate better. It's great for team building. It's great for sales training as well. The other day for American University of Sharjah, I did one for their graduates, which was so much fun. All Emiratis, mainly female, and we really dug deep. It was a whole day, and we did a whole thing about different types of communication in the workplace, and we got them to look at the pros and cons and the advantages, disadvantages, what they prefer, but how it could be miscommunicated. It was really interesting. And to see them in such a short amount of time using my vocal training get more confident in their public speaking was just amazing. A threefold, because there's 3 elements to our business. So we have the performing arts education side, which is the stage school and the camps, etc. Then we have the corporate side, which is the vocal mastery, sales training, communications training, etc. And then we have the events, which is the community theatre, the art festival, hopefully as the win and everything opens, getting to do some more high-level entertainment. So the USP is that we serve the community first and foremost of Ras Al Khaimah, but we are hoping to expand. And that my background is I've taught for 25 odd years and I've been a professional actress, singer, so I bring that to children. And like I mentioned before, I understand the value that performing arts brings to education, and I myself struggled as a kid, and I recognise that in children. I love seeing those moments. I love seeing it in adults too. I have some adults that I teach, and I teach them singing or I teach them public speaking, And I love seeing that development too. But what brings me the most joy is just seeing the community grow. That's my USP. My advice to any newcomers to Ras Al Khaimah, well, it depends how old they are, but if they're young, and particularly we get a lot of teachers coming over here, fresh graduates, is join societies. One of the best things I did when I first moved to Ras Al Khaimah was I joined the Gaelic Football Society. I haven't played Gaelic football ever properly in my life. I used to play it in the summer when I went to Ireland to visit the family, but it's never been one of my things. But it was the best thing I did because I got to know people and I really integrated myself into the area. If you're a business owner or if you're thinking of starting a business here, definitely join the networking groups. There's quite a few of them. Get on the social media and look at Wow Rack, because everything you need to know about what's going on in Ras Al Khaimah is on Wow Rack. If you're a parent and you're looking for activities for your kids, it's all on there. If you're looking for brunches and social things to do, it's all on there. If you're looking to connect with people, get in touch with them. Most people are on their directory, so that's what I would do. Shira, you go to Friday Stage School, right?
Yeah.
What's your favourite thing about Friday Stage School?
I mainly like the drama, and especially that we do the talent show at third term. Like on the first term, we do a musical, on the second, a drama, and on the third, a talent show. It was actually really fun doing the talent show because you can make whatever you want, and they really like the teachers.
Hannah, what's your favourite thing that you've done at camp?
Dancing.
Dancing? Which dance that you've done at camp was your favourite?
Black Magic.
Yeah, can you show us some of the moves from Black Magic? Good girl. And it's called Black Magic. Good girl. Jeanette, you come to Friday Stage School, don't you?
Yeah.
And what's your favourite thing that you've ever done at Stage School?
It's hard. I don't really know.
Okay, so talk to us about what we do at Stage School.
We do singing, drama, and dancing.
And what about camp? What have you enjoyed about doing camp this term?
I enjoyed drawing.
Drawing? Seriously, you're going to talk about drawing as your favourite thing?
I'm just joking.
What character are you? They're tired now.
Matilda.
What? You're Matilda. Okay, so how would you describe Matilda as a character?
Misunderstood.
Misunderstood. Why is she misunderstood?
Because, she's clever.
And she likes to read, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And what about her parents? Do they like the fact that she reads?
No.
No. So how do you show that? With your facial expressions. All right, cut. Good one. Baron, you've been doing Show Squad camps, haven't you, for a while now?
Yeah.
Tell us some of the shows that you've been in.
I've been in Alice in Wonderland, which I was Mock Turtle in that time. I've been Lost Inside a Fairy Tale.
And who were you in that?
Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin. And what about this week?
We're doing Roald Dahl's story came to alive, and I'm Child-Free, Mrs. Wormwood, and the Grand High Witch.
What's your favourite part that you're playing this week?
The Grand High Witch.
The Grand High Witch.
Yeah.
Why?
Because she does spells, and she's always her signs are clear.
Her signs are clear. What do you mean?
I don't know.
Well, she's fun to play, isn't she? She's very big. She does very big gestures and everything.
She's not a giant. She is big, and she's bossy.
Bossy, that's a good one. So, Leah, what did you do for the talent show last term at Friday Stage School? What did you perform?
We did a dance. We also did an act, school pressure, and we make these funny drawings.
Okay. And what's your favourite thing that you've done this week at camp?
My favourite thing is probably doing acting, dancing, and probably singing.
Seb, this is your first camp, isn't it? Theatre camp with Show Squad.
Yes.
And what have you enjoyed about it?
Enjoyed definitely the dancing and more importantly the drama.
And you were a bit sceptical about the dancing, weren't you, at the start?
Yeah, at the start. And then after maybe the first 1 or 2 days, I actually started enjoying the dancing. And at my house, it was like I couldn't fall asleep, so I just climbed out of my bed and started doing the dance.
That's amazing. And out of the characters you're playing this week, which one's your favourite?
Definitely Wonka, because I feel like he's a bit more commanding, but also relaxed at the same time. Because 1 minute he'll be like, no, don't do that. And the next he'll be like, well, that's one way to travel.
Great. And what would you say to somebody who's thinking about doing a camp with Show Squad? What would you say to them?
I'd say definitely do it. And if you don't like dancing, just give it a shot anyway. I didn't like dancing, but then when I actually did the dance, I ended up enjoying it.
And would you say the week's challenging but fun? Do you think that's a good way to describe it?
Yes, challenging, fun, yeah.
So, Noah, in this camp this week, which character are you playing?
The Mac TV, one of the spell witches, but they don't have any sentence. Start 11 and then hero 8 on number 1.
Mrs. Trunchbull, madam.
Oh yeah, and Mrs. Trunchbull.
Which one's the most fun to play?
I could start doing the squeaky, a higher voice or a lower voice for Mrs. Trunchbull. It will be good.
Why do you think it would be good to do a lower voice for Miss Trunchbull?
Because like tap and and I can do like books again.
Books again? Like that?
Yes.
Try it again. Go books again.
Books again.
And go wormwood.
Wormwood.
Yeah, good. Okay. And do you think that you've improved this week?
Maybe. But through the year, I was obviously improving.
Shira, what characters are you this week?
I'm actually in almost all of the shows except for Matilda. In Witches I'm Boy, which is actually really funny because his name is actually Boy. And from Wonka, I'm Augustus's mom. I'm actually in BFG, I'm the main character, and in the Twits, I'm the narrator. And you should join Show Squad if you're looking something for the summer.
So why are the summer camps so fun?
I kind of like stage school more because you get to do it more often, but it's more fun. It's also fun to do camp because sometimes you're bored in summer until you're traveling.
1, 2, 3. Show Squad!